What if the 911 was this Le Mans racer thing? And that builds out the story of like the original car, the half 11, which kind of was supposed to be a business card for Oil Stain Lab, what we can do.
For somebody that doesn't get an invite like that and wants to register a car, what's the price point? What's for registering a car?
I think it varies on how cool your car is.
When you say the Italians approach design differently, what's the biggest? What is? I mean, what's the standout thing that makes them approach it?
Beauty and make it look like a woman.
First of all, is like if anyone's ever sat in an Italian car, usually fairly uncomfortable, right? College class where we had an ergonomics class. The class was basically like, no, just fold the human so that it makes that he fits in your shape. Basically, we had a disagreement on visas. We're Canadian, so we need work visas to stay in the US. Literally got poached by Honda the day after they rejected or they changed the contract terms. And Honda came to us and basically said, blank check, what do you want? Phaeton, which is the crazy expensive VW. Mm-hmm. And like literally the world's burning, the economy's burning, and we're designing a $150,000 Volkswagen. And I remember being in those meetings and them just yelling at each other like, why does the world need this? Like, we build cars for people to buy with money they don't have. Cool.
Welcome back. Another episode of Oil and Whiskey. This episode, as always, is brought to you by WeatherTech. WeatherTech's cargo liner provides complete cargo area protection and coverage to defend against daily wear and tear.
Laser measured for a perfect fit to the vehicle's exact make and model.
Raised outer lip keeps messes contained, avoiding damage from scuffs, spills, dirt, and all your other daily mishaps.
Great for hauling tools, sports gear, groceries, and more. A tough textured finish helps keep cargo from shifting during the drive. Easy installation and removal for quick cleanup.
For those that are transporting their dog or other animals in the back area, makes cleaning up pet hair, slobber, muddy and wet paw marks very easy. Much more so than factory carpet.
Offered in 4 colors, black, tan, gray, cocoa, to match floor liner and floor liner HP. 100% made in the USA, so you can be assured of its quality.
Go to WeatherTech.com to check out the cargo liner today. This week, we have half of the dynamic duo, the Canadian hustlers, the twins, Nikita Bridan from Oil Stain Lab. Everybody, I'm sure, is probably aware of you guys bursting onto the scene about, probably 4 years ago is when you really kind of just took off. And it was blowing up in everybody's feed. And so we're glad to be able to do this. You guys are hitting it. Love to talk about how this all came about, because I know that us at the Roadster Shop have been watching in awe for quite some time. And you're just like, what, how, what, why, like,
where,
what's going on?
Yeah, it pretty much hijacked my social media, I'd say, maybe 2 years ago. From a marketing standpoint, and I guess it's just interaction, because everybody loves the stuff.
Yeah.
That it is just everywhere you look, man.
Yeah, I look at your social media channels more like a curated studio. Forget like anything that you're peddling. It's just, I'm like, from pictures to ads to everything. It's just like, I'm going to see what's going on today.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. I mean, I'm equally in awe to be chatting with you guys. I mean, Roadster Shop, you guys are legends. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. It's been a long time coming, man.
Yeah, this was absolutely one that we obviously you're a little outside of our industry, but what you're doing is just unbelievably cool, man. And you hit my radar because it just overtook my social media, and we shotgun these out there, and you never know who's going to agree to come on this wonderful podcast. But when I saw Oil Stain Lab pop up there, I was like, oh, hell yeah, man, this is going to be badass. I'm so many questions, so intrigued by the car, man. So yeah, let's just dive into it.
Well, you've done a lot of these, you and your brother both, in interviews and podcasts and stuff. And I mean, you've kind of told the story, but for our listeners and for our own personal sake, we'd like to get into a little bit. You born and raised in Canada, correct?
Almost. I was actually born in Ukraine when it was the USSR, and then moved to Canada along with obviously my brother and my family when I was probably 3, something like that.
Okay.
91. And then, yeah, I spent childhood in rural Canada, a little place called Halifax, Nova Scotia. So, yeah, not a lot of cars out there.
Yeah, generally known for its supercar following. Right?
Yeah. So how did you get the car bug in Nova Scotia?
Yeah, it's I mean, I think it all started with design for my brother and I. And by design I mean when we were kids, we were just drawing stuff, right? Drawing spaceships, dinosaurs, and cars. Those were like the three things we were drawing. And yeah, that's what we do to pass time in school. My both my parents were really, really smart, the PhDs. And so yeah, they wanted us to study hard, but all we could do was draw cars and stuff. Um, and then yeah, one they found a website that was like more focused towards like car design stuff, and just saw the pretty pictures, like, whoa, that's really cool, and just yeah, started going down that path. But didn't really realize it was like a viable career or anything, right? Of course, your parents are always pushing you into let's say jobs that pay well, established, low risk. There's a nice pathway there.
Doctor,
Like
lawyer, engineer. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Doctor and lawyer. You got those two. So yeah, I've still got all those books where they're like, yeah, let's go visit this university. They have a great lawyer program. But yeah, that wasn't to be. And then around 10 years old, we started getting pretty serious on it, won some competitions, and yeah, we're kind of like, okay, this is definitely what we want to do. Again, parents were just like, it's a phase, they'll grow out of it, they'll become lawyers, it's fine, let's entertain it for a bit. And then we went to a architecture university to see what, architecture is like, because it's kind of related to design. And my brother and I, we both just freaked out. We're just like, what? You guys only use rulers? Like, there's no curves? Like,
freehand.
What is this? Like, no, I don't do this anymore. And then yeah, eventually got really, really serious, and at 13, 14, basically dropped out of school, applied to university in Italy for car design. Got accepted also to Coventry in the UK. And then, yeah, that started the car design pathway.
Man, so you guys fast tracked that and skipped half your high school career, or just knocked it all out and then boom, right into university?
Yeah, I mean, kind of, like I said, my parents have very good brain genes.
Yeah.
So I think they passed that along.
Okay.
And, we were basically doing like pre-calc at 13, years old. And then we passed, what is it, to get into US universities, you have to do like an SAT test or something. And scored far above anything you'd ever need for an art college or design program, right? And so, yeah, we were basically then able to just drop out of high school. So like shit, we can go to university now.
That's all, dude. Josh dropped out of high school too.
I did not. I finished. I could have dropped out, but for different reasons. Vinny did. Yeah. Vinny.
Hey, that's crazy.
So you went overseas at 14 to start university?
Yeah, I mean, again, like super fortunate to have parents that were, at that point, my dad was able to work from home and kind of run his business. And so obviously you can't send a 14-year-old into a foreign country to live by themselves. So they came with us, and, I mean, because of that, we had a very sheltered, let's say, existence until we were going to university. We're hanging out with people that are, in their 20s, right? Students, college kids, they're partying, but we were obviously very sheltered from that, living with our parents, they're investing time, etc. So it's a really unique, I think, college experience compared to,
very unique.
How bought in are they at this point? I mean, obviously pretty bought in if you're gonna uproot and move, but have they finally succeeded to the idea that this is the path that you guys are taking regardless of what we want?
I think honestly at that point they were supportive, but I think they were still like, it's a phase, they'll grow out of it. Like most kids change, their vision or whatever. And one of the reasons we did go to Italy, well, first of all, we had some like decent scholarship stuff, and then it's actually just so affordable compared to the programs in North America, in the US. At this point, they didn't want to commit to basically a school like Art Center, which is probably the most famous one in the US here in California, which we later attended once I think they realized, okay, there's no way to change.
Never
But
gonna have to.
that was like the cheap trial in Italy, let's say.
So how long were you in Italy before you went to Pasadena for the art center?
Yeah. So we arrived there, and to be honest, I think my parents wanted to live in Italy as well. Like that's not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing. No.
Better than Pasadena.
Although we were in Turin, which is the least glamorous part of Italy. It's like, I'm probably gonna offend people, but like the Detroit of Italy, right? It's the industrial heart of kind of the country.
Well, it's not the Nova
not as
Scotia of Canada either, though. It's completely different than that.
No.
Just let's go ahead and offend everybody.
But yeah, we were there.
Get it out there, dude. Get it, as long as it's you. It's usually me.
It's par for our brand. I think we were there probably about 18 months, something like that. So we completed more or less the first year. And again, it was trial by fire, right? You don't know the language. You're just a 14-year-old kid, 15-year-old kid, whatever, competing with people that, have already sort of gotten, pretty significant experience drawing, designing, etc. But also we had the advantage of just being sponges, right? So we just absorbed everything. The culture, the way that Italians approach design is so different. And for us, that was extremely like opening, and it stayed with us. I mean, part of what we do today is we are in debt to our time in Italy, and the coach building and everything that they did back then. You just, it stained us literally.
So when you say the Italians approach design differently, what's the biggest? What else? I mean, what's the main thing that stands out? Because obviously the design work it's apparent, right? And it's probably significantly better than most of the stuff you see designed in the U.S., I think. But what's the standout thing that makes them approach it?
Beauty and make it look like a woman at the end of the day.
So, I mean, to me, there's two things about it. First of all, is like, if anyone's ever sat in an Italian car, usually fairly uncomfortable, right? There's this disregard for the occupants and ergonomics and everything.
Of course.
And that was really evident in our college class, where we had an ergonomics class, and it was like, the class was basically like, no, just fold the human so that it makes that he fits in your shape, and then it'll be great.
Weight, man.
So that was very different than, let's say, a more Northern European or North American approach, where it's like, no, ergonomics is like, let's make sure the person's comfortable. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, they have obviously this great history for design, and to me, it's very unfiltered because the companies were smaller. There was these coach building design houses, etc., and the organizations didn't filter ideas or rule out ideas as much as you have in other, I think, organizations or structures. And so, again, I'm probably going to offend people, but like 50% of the designs are just ugly. They're horrible, right? But then 50% are just home runs because they just nailed everything. And I think their ability to create those home runs is what's really created that reputation, but also it's that freedom to create those things, right? To swing for the fences and, kind of try these crazy cool ideas, shapes, forms, construction methods, etc. So I think I love that. That's so cool.
I'm learning so much just from this, just from the last 15 minutes. It's setting up so many things. So you go through that. Did you do any internships while you were there before you came to Pasadena?
No, I mean, our level honestly was really, really low. So I mean, even the first day we got to that school, we were just like, oh, holy crap! Like everyone here is so talented. And some of the students that we went to school with, I mean, they've gone on to build pretty good careers and do some pretty influential stuff. Um, we finished the first year, and at the end of the first year, we met Frank Stevenson, very famous designer, did the P1 among other things, Mini Ferrari. Um, and after a couple meetings with him, he was basically like, "Guys, clearly you've got some ability, some talent. You like, what are you doing here? Go to the best school in the world, go to Art Center, and go to California." And I'm sure my parents were pissed because that just meant the tuition costs like 10x.
Yeah.
But I mean, we still had to get into Art Center. We were still young, so we still had to get into Art Center. So made a portfolio, applied, eventually got in, and started at 17 at Center. So
but it's a package deal at that point, right? It's you and your brother pretty much doing everything, applying and all that stuff together.
Yeah. No, it's been interesting to have someone, chase that with you, right? So it's good and bad because it leads to this like crazy. We're very competitive, but in a friendly way.
Right.
So if you see someone's doing better work, you're just like, I got to put in more time or work. I got to do better, and then, next thing you know, you've been drawing for 16 hours, and where's the day gone? So yeah, a little obsessive.
As a team of brothers, is there particular areas where one of you excels and maybe it's a shortcoming for another? I mean, do you guys kind of complement each other, or is it both just like, is it that competitive nature across the board where I'm just going to outwork them and do better, and it just elevates both of you, or where do you guys thrive?
It's throughout our career stages, obviously we fluctuated where people's strengths are and what, depending on where they're working and stuff. I think the best way to put it is our strength is making mistakes together, or making mistakes, period. And then that translating. So it's like after Art Center, there was one teacher and he gave us the most backhanded compliment ever. He's like, "I know why you guys learn so fast and why you can adapt and quickly. It's going to make twice as many mistakes as everybody else." We're just like,
Thanks.
"You're not wrong. You're not wrong." So, yeah.
Well, I mean, like you said, you know, you've been told you got some talent. You're seeing that you got some talent. You've been sponges. You're excelling at a rapid pace, especially for such a young age against your peers that are significantly older. But what's the anxiety like? Filling out your applications and putting the portfolio together for the acceptance into. I mean, what if one of you gets accepted and the other doesn't? Like, what's the plan? Or is there even any talk about that?
Wow. Yeah, I mean, we kind of operate off plan A.
It's like, I never really thought of that.
All right. I get it. That's,
Yeah. Kind of plan A.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, a certain level of confidence, I suppose, goes with it too, right?
Well, yeah, there's no sense in planning, for what you don't want to happen. You just plan for what you want to happen, and then pivot if you have to. So you go out there.
I think, we.
Yeah,
no, I mean, we just try and put ourselves in a position where something's inevitable, right? And that's it. So yeah, it's just that. It's plan A, and yeah.
That's cool.
That's it.
Put ourselves in a position where something's inevitable.
Love it.
That's really good. So you more tuition. You tell the parents like, "Hey, we're really doing this thing." They obviously know that it's now real. So now they're going to have to spend more money. They're going to have to move from Italy to California. And you're also not pursuing the career choices that they wanted you to. So that's like, they are super happy at this point. They are like fucking Joan. Yeah, they're down.
Well, they're not drinking. They're not doing drugs. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I think, we were probably young. So, I mean, we didn't really understand, I guess, the intensity of that or those decisions or ramifications of it. I mean, again, pretty lucky. I mean, they moved with us. Yeah. So from Italy to Canada, then to California, and they stayed with us for 6 months until we turned 18. After we turned 18, they're like, "All right, you're on your own." So that was, a baptism by fire. Because even if we had been living abroad and traveling and doing these things, you've never, I mean, let's face it, we'd never cooked. We'd never done these sort of things that you need to do as an adult, like pay your rent and go grocery shopping. And we had been all encompassed in being the best designers, artists, etc., that we could be, right? And they empowered that. And then they basically just ditched us. So that was a big sink or swim moment.
Oh yeah, I mean, dude, I'll tell you, I'm 42 years old and I still don't know how to cook or grocery shop. So it's
yeah, but we have DoorDash. Like I don't think they had Uber Eats or DoorDash.
Only in recent years. But yeah, you gotta find a good woman to help with that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Going through all that at such a young age. I mean, at 18, man, I mean, I still felt like a kid, right? I didn't have really any direction. But that's
yeah. I mean, I've got an 18-year-old son now, you know, and I mean he's pretty much self-sufficient, you know, by choice, and I mean he still lives at home, you know, so there's food, there's stuff, but you don't really see him a lot. But I can't even begin to imagine like across the country of like watching the clock. Boom, you're 18, figure it out, and also make sure you get good grades and like excel in school.
Yeah, and there was like a big learning experience of like what a credit score is, what a credit card is, because up to that point, I mean, we basically didn't have to deal with any of that. So yeah, it was very challenging.
I'm also wondering
mind-opening
if that wasn't their last ditch effort to be like, all right,
they're getting
in 3 months they're gonna be like, screw this, we got to come back home, we can't eat.
Yeah, that's funny, man. Out of all the complicated,
I never thought of that.
Out of all the complicated things you did at once, like just simple life is thrown at you. That's the challenge.
Yeah, like I just want to draw, create, design. Let everybody else handle all the other stuff. We're just gonna like pound our head into work. Now you gotta, like you said, you gotta worry about rent. You gotta worry about food. You gotta worry about all the life stuff that gets in the way. That really is not something that a creative really wants to worry about.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting, and I mean, I think at Art Center, there's, it's a very unique school because there are extremely wealthy students that are driving McLarens, Lambos, whatever, right? Multiple cars that are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then you have students that are like literally sleeping in their car because they can't afford rent, right? But this is their passion. They're somehow making it work. They're working 3 jobs, and you have this extreme contrast. And we were somewhere. We were in the middle there. We didn't have a ton of money, so we had to like save money. There were times when, I have $20 in my bank account or whatever, and it's like, am I going to have dinner or am I going to buy supplies, right? So yeah, it's also a very, again, coming from the relative homogeneous nature of Canada, right, where everyone's fairly equal, it's more equal, and then you are dumped into this location where it's like, yeah, kids are flying private jets to Hawaii on the weekend and other kids are sleeping in the parking lot. You're just like, what the hell is going on? This is crazy, So yeah, life experiences.
Yeah,
Are you working throughout this? I mean, you working a normal job?
So we were able to basically get Canadian student loans to cover it. And then my brother and I got 50% scholarships each. So my parents only had to pay for one of us. And then the grandparents basically paid a large portion of it to cover that. So yeah, between family, Canadian loans, our parents really didn't want us, I guess, working or wasting our time when they're investing that much money into it. So again, we were fortunate, not as fortunate as some students, but more fortunate than others. So yeah.
But the dude flying to Hawaii on the weekends on the plane probably didn't amount to much, I'm guessing. It might have not.
You never know.
He's in the inheritance business, inheritance business. It's a good business.
So you get over there, you get through the like life has gotten dumped on you. You've gotten through all that, but it's still, there's the excitement of like, this is the number one school, right? This is, if we're gonna make a career out of this, we gotta do this. Schooling wise, first class, first like experience, was it what you had built up in your heads? Like, well, I want to know like that first day or that first experience where you're like, holy shit, this is way better than I thought, or it's, oh, like I just came from Italy, like we like
piece of cake.
Yeah, they know. What was that? What was your headspace at like that at that point?
Yeah, I mean, Just being first time in LA, seeing like driving downtown LA up to the art center and just seeing that, I think again, coming from rural Canada, you're just in awe and shock and awe, seeing the Hollywood signs, seeing all that. You're just like, whoa, where am I? And then if you guys are familiar with the Art Center campus, like it's up on the hill, it's beautiful architecture. There's deer running around. It's paradise, you know? Um, Compared to Italy, which was like kind of a older, rundown, 19th century building that's been renovated. It was nice, but like we in the basement most of the time, no windows, very different experience. So yeah, you get what you pay for. Let's say with the Art Center, it's pretty cool. And then yeah, we were just really fortunate to have a great group of people that started with us. And back then, Art Center actually kept industrial design students together with car design students for the first two terms, which is about, I don't know, I guess 2/3 of the first year. And so we were exposed to a lot of different perspectives, point of views, design processes. I think car designers generally are more flamboyant. They can sketch better pictures, like it's more emotional, whereas industrial design is more like about function and manufacturing. And it's very different than kind of the, let's say, the art center transportation way. So that was really cool. But yeah, just super lucky to have amazingly talented students that were in the program with us that went through the program. Most of them are still friends and they've had crazy successes and we've all just sort of risen together. So I mean, that's what I'm sort of, I guess, most thankful for is just that group of people that, yeah, in a way, yeah, put us under their wing because we were like the awkward, uh, very awkward 17-year-old kid with no social life. So it was good.
At what point through schooling are you starting to think about career path?
Gosh, good question. And there's the way the curriculum's set up. There's basically two gateways, kind of 2/3 of the 1/3 of the way through, 2/3 of the way through, where yeah, you sit down and they ask you questions. What's your 5-year plan? What's this? And I remember basically being like, I don't have a plan. I'm just here to be like, just learn as much as I can, and like it'll sort itself out. So, um, there wasn't I don't think there was a very clear vision of what we wanted to do. My internship was an absolute disaster. So all my
Oh,
dreams and goals and everything just completely shattered. My brother had a similar experience by basically getting rejected from his dream internship. And so that had an equally difficult thing for him to sort of, yeah, live through and like understand. And so, yeah, I don't know, man. It was kind of like just survive, get a job, any job. Like I knew how much my parents were putting into it. And so I think the biggest pressure was like any job so I can start paying these loans back and start kind of let my parents know like it'll be okay. They don't need to pay for us anymore type thing.
the I don't want to dig too deep into something if you're not wanting to talk about the disaster of the internship. Was that in your mind? I mean, I don't know what the disaster was, but was your takeaway that this is an isolated incident and it wasn't all I thought it was going to be, or was it starting to peel back the layers of maybe what you thought car design was, maybe not what it actually is going to be as a whole?
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, I can totally speak about it. I've had a few disasters in my life career. But that one was I think again, being kind of a kid and maybe naive, you think it's this dream job, it's really cool. We get to do all these cool things. It's like the 70s, we drink whiskey, you do drugs, cocaine, whatever. It's like car design, baby, fast life.
Yeah.
No, not the case at all. So my dream internship was to go to Volkswagen in Santa Monica. That was a studio, had sort of onboarded a lot of crazy talent, had given internships to other amazing people, Richard Kim, Derek Jenkins was there, Sasha, et cetera, et cetera. And so that was the goal. And I got there. I did it. and immediately, basically, the economy tanked. This was '08. And so the economic crash happened. When I started that internship, I think there were about 70 people working there. When I left after 12 weeks, it was down in the 20s. So it was a mass exodus of people just being fired. And, you see things like, a young designer who's got kids and he's being slashed in favor of like the old guy who's just friends with the design chief but actually contributes nothing to the team. And you see all that and you're just like, oh my god, like that. It On top of that were the creative limitations, the project limitations. At the time we were working on the Phaeton, which is the crazy expensive VW. And like literally the world's burning, the economy's burning, and we're designing $150,000 Volkswagen. And I remember being in those meetings and them just yelling at each other, like, why does the world need this? And me being like, oh, cool. So we design and build things, like we build cars for people to buy with money they don't have. Cool. Like this whole, it was very, yeah, it was a very like cynical, very, yeah, negative experience. And so I almost quit car design and transitioned into either entertainment or industrial design, because I thought, well, maybe that's got a little more logic to it, a little less sort of this emotion and aspiration and stuff. But in the end, stuck with it. So, yeah.
What throughout time at Art Center, we'll get past that in like first job. So, yeah, what was the very first job of like, hey, school is done and I got to get a job? Like you said, I know how much my parents put into it. A lot of the, idealization maybe is kind of wore off, and now it's like, all right, I've chosen this career path. I'm sure there's going to be some wins and losses, but I got to get paid. What was the first job?
Yeah. So again, I think we were really fortunate. We worked so hard during our final term, to the point where, yeah, you're awake for 3 days in a row, right? You're working super, super hard. And, my brother and I wanted to work together. Like we've done that up to this point, and now it's to the point where it's like, okay, going to university together, kind of, it's hard, but like that's a bar you can clear. But for a company to hire two people at the same time, when normally one person out of a class gets a job,
yeah,
that's an extremely high bar. So we knew that, so we worked our butts off. And luckily we had, some leverage, I guess, as companies wanted us. And then when a company wanted one of us, we'd be like, hey man, like, got a brother, you guys want to hire him?
It's all or nothing, boys.
And so we were able to get 6 companies interested in hiring us together, which was, yeah, quite an accomplishment. I don't know how we did that. And we ended up going to, of all the companies, we chose Toyota, because it was kind of this mysterious design studio. Calty, they didn't really hire people, and they had just hired the previous year a close friend of ours who we had started with originally, Mike Kim, who's now a designer at Singer Vehicle Design, the 911s. So yeah, we were like, oh, let's go join our best buddy and go see what this Calty black hole is all about. So we went together there. And yeah, it was really cool. We loved Calty. Stayed there for a year. Basically, we had a disagreement on visas. We're Canadian, so we need work visas to stay in the US. Calty pivoted basically what they had promised us in their contract, from an H-1B to a TN-1. We were just like, nah, it's not going to work because we want to be in the US permanently. Like, we want our green cards, etc. Like, yeah. And literally got poached by Honda the day after they rejected or they changed the contract terms. And Honda came to us and basically said, blank check, what do you want? We're taking both of you. So
wow, not a bad deal, man.
Yeah.
That's can't beat that.
No, and you put the work in, and that's got to be. It's got to be awfully proud, both of you, to be in a position like that where you've got some heavy hitters chasing you. That's got to feel great, man.
What's the very first? We've had a fair amount of designers on before, and I like to ask, like, first paying gig you come in. I mean, you've already talked about it. You know, you've got all the ideas and all the stuff like that. I always want to know, like, the first job that you get stuck on. You know, the
shift boot.
It's the old thing is like, well, you get to do the AC knob, but like not the fan controls, just the heat and cold. You know.
Yeah, no, I mean that was a little bit of a harsh awakening, I'll say. So when we, like, for example, to build on that, we started Toyota, right? And obviously Toyotas aren't the prettiest cars, and they're not like, you know, it's not like where a designer dreams of going, but we're like, okay, we'll go there and we'll show them what good design is, right? Like we're talented.
We'll change
show
the
'em.
face of
Like
Toyota.
they're just, yeah, yeah. The problem is they're missing us, right? Like we're the missing link. And you know, you're young, naive, arrogant. And so we get there and we hatch this plan with Mike Kim, our buddy. We're like, we're gonna do a design book, design principles. We're gonna show them, you know. And then yeah, immediately all of that gets like shut down, and yeah, a very sort of harsh lesson, but also like learning just how talented the Toyota design team is. Like honestly, they're remarkable. It's just after engineering and management and all the choices that are made in Japan, North America, etc. Yeah, unfortunately, it's most of the time it comes out like a dog turd. But yeah, that's the business, right? It has nothing to do with the talent of engineers or designers. But yeah, first job that we got, I think luckily we never really got stuck on components. I mean, we did some wheels and stuff, but mostly we got stuck almost immediately into like production programs. My brother got immediately on a concept car program, which got released like a year ago, and it's this really goofy green Scion that's almost like vertical. It looks like a double decker car.
Oh, wow.
They revealed it in their archive. So yeah, I mean, I honestly can't say we ever got stuck on door handles or wheels, but we did get stuck on like a Camry facelift or, you know, where there are limitations. Um, but even then at Toyota, we usually had 4 or 5 projects going on, from scale models to full sizes to yeah, advanced concept work. Honestly, fantastic studio, great people, super talented. And again, we just can't say enough about how much we learned from all those people. And that's the one thing we've been lucky is to experience like Toyota, Hyundai, Honda, General Motors, GAC, like all of these brands, all these different approaches, all these different designers that have so much talent. And we've been just sponges, you know, absorbing it. So yeah,
That's very cool.
just been lucky.
As a designer, and this just as a guy that just sees shit happen from the outside, but what happened with Hyundai? How did they all of a sudden go from just like a cookie cutter entry level base model kind of affordable car to something that was so design focused? Because their stuff today, it's like it's in a league of its own. It's its own look. It's not like anything else that's out there. And it's really, I mean, love it or hate it, it's quite good.
It's completely different than 20 years ago.
Who drives that? Is that two hotshot young guys like you and your brother that come in and are truly like, hey, we are changing the shit? Or is that from the top?
It's a bottom up approach. Yeah, it's definitely a bottom up approach.
Of course it is.
No, I mean, I think, you know, the Hyundai Renaissance really reminds me a bit of like what Lexus did. So when we started at Toyota, we were able to experience their first sort of, you know, hot show car, which was the LFLC concept that was being developed in the studio. And then obviously got to production. I think to this day, that car looks like a spaceship on the road. I mean, it's, you know, whether you like the grille, whether you like the styling, everything about it is very striking compared to like their older cars. And so I think, you know, I did work at Hyundai for a little bit. I lasted 6 months before I quit. But you know, that was the start of their kind of renaissance. What it comes down to is money, spending money. You need to spend money on the platform. You need to spend money on the wheel to body relationship. You need to spend money on suspension geometry so that you get a decent offset, wheel to fender. You need to spend money on doing what we call a 6 window as opposed to a 4 window. So Camry's got 2 windows on the side. Most premium cars have that little C-pillar window, right?
Yep.
So that costs extra money. You got to spend money on that. It's just money and then empowering design, right? So usually design gets neutered because, oh, we can't afford that. Oh, we can't do that. Oh, we can't do this. Interestingly enough, for example, when I was working at Hyundai, they wanted to do a Mustang competitor, you know, and also like more of these kind of fastback sedans. And they couldn't do them because they couldn't afford the spoiler, the active spoiler, which most people think the active spoiler at 60 miles an hour goes up. It's for downforce or performance or whatever. But the reality is for aero to save you MPG. And so they couldn't afford the spoiler, so they couldn't do the fastback, you know, body style, which meant their cars looked old because they were 3-box sedans, more traditional, right?
Yeah.
And so it's this knock-on effect of like, we have no money for engineering, we have no money for design. And once you have money, then you can do cool things. And I mean, they're doing really cool things. Definitely was not the case when I was there, but they are now. So it's cool. It's good to see.
But even on the money thing too, it's the initial investment, but it's also the being able to swallow that pill on the time it takes to pay off. Because if you want to invest that now in design and then over the next couple of years on the R&D, and then the car is going to be that much more expensive. But that you're talking, what life cycle going to be, 5 or 6 years from initial concept to when it hits the so you're spending that money for the next 5 or 6 years on just a gamble and just a design team's like belief that like, no, I'm telling you, spend all this money, you're going to sell a shit ton of them in 6 years.
Yeah, and you got to expand that a little bit more because the program will start 3 to 4 years before it goes on launch. So that's when the budget and body style gets approved. So you're really predicting, yeah, give or take between 6 to 10 years into the future, and to be right. And, you know, for example, one of the programs my brother worked on, they stretched the wheelbase, I think, 1 inch. That was $100 million change, so good luck going into a board convincing them they need to spend $100 million, retool the entire factory, because now the car can't turn around at the end of the factory. That is the correct thing to do, and you will get your money back.
Because it looks awesome. It looks awesome.
That helps us hot rodders out tremendously, because when we propose that to a customer, I mean, you got to cut the wheel openings out. You got to mess with the chassis a little bit. I mean, maybe 100 hours worth of work.
Not 100 million.
It's so affordable now. Right?
That's really wild. You mentioned GAC. How was GAC to work at? I've always been intrigued.
Yeah.
It's such a like behind the curtain, like nobody really knows anything.
You're familiar with their. You're kind of familiar with their operations. I mean, obviously they don't sell cars in America.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's partially owned by the Chinese government,
right?
Which makes things interesting. My brother was there for a year before I joined him, so I was fired from GM, and then I went and joined him at GAC. That's its own story, but yeah, at GAC it was interesting because we at the time they were trying to bring the brand over here, and then I believe there was a political presidential change, and then basically it went full anti-China tariffs, etc. And so that studio was kind of an outlier where it was working on advanced programs, production programs, but not for a market that they're in, right? So the opinion was often discounted, let's say. But it was interesting to see, being so far from China, we had to study like their culture, the trends, like as much as we could from afar, kind of try and understand it. But then on top of this is this layered nuance of the government sets the strategy. And so from week to week, you would get a different brief. So to put it in perspective, at one point we were working on affordable kind of electric mobility for pop-up stores, etc. Right? So like affordable, I don't know, like pop-up grocery stores or fruit stalls or whatever, right? Food things. Then in 2 weeks, basically the government said, no, we don't. This is terrible. Like I don't know who came up with this idea, but like we need to scrap it because all our cities will look like shanty towns, and we want to be like cyberpunk and like modern and high tech. And like no, we can't empower like poor people. No, we can't do that. So yeah, you get these like huge shifts in direction, and yeah, you just kind of got to swing with it and go with it. But the speed is impressive. The speed, the quality of the products, the technology is utterly mind-blowing. It is so far ahead. I mean, they develop cars now in 2 years, and no OEM on the planet can even get close. I mean, yeah, it's not the healthiest live work. It's not the healthiest of anything, but holy crap, are they a well-oiled machine?
The volume is staggering too, right? Isn't the volume like nuts?
Yeah, and it's, because of the very unique situations of how they opened up the Chinese market, there are these really interesting situations arise where they have like manufacturing contracts with Western OEMs. And so I'm going to keep this ambiguous, but we saw a production version of a Western car in the GAC factory before it had been shown, certainly as a concept car or certainly as anything else. And so you have these weird like security, confidential situations where you're like, what is going on here? It's strange. It's really strange.
I can only imagine.
All stuff they did not teach you about in design center. all the backside stuff.
Industrial espionage? No.
At what point during all this are like the wheels turning towards what you've ultimately found yourself doing now? Because you've got this just, I guess, like thriving career with a huge future ahead of you. Where does it shift gears? Where do you become like essentially kind of like a hot rodder, it seemed like, for a short period of time? How do you start formulating this idea of like we're gonna just scratch build something that's kind of like a Porsche? I don't even know what it is. Like walk me through that.
Probably when you're having to design like cheap mobility for pop-up fucking food stands, you're like, I gotta fucking do something.
It's I think you have to go really, really far back actually. So when we were 12 years old, my brother and I really wanted to build a kit car. We thought that would be really cool. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to build a Cobra or like a Diablo replica or whatever, right? Some kit car replica. The Ultima was like a really cool thing too. And so, yeah, we even like created a little business model for my parents. I was like, look, our time's free. Like, I think we can break even. Like, we'll learn a lot about cars. We want to design cars. Like, this makes sense. They were just like, no, we don't want you guys working with your hands. Like, you got to save your hands like a pianist, right? Like your fingers are your most valuable thing. So they were like, no, you're not allowed to play with tools. You're not allowed to work on cars. You're not allowed to do any of that. And so, yeah, that basically lay dormant, I think, for a long, long time. And then at 25, my brother and I both turned 25. We decided, okay, we've kind of paid off our loans. We paid off this. We want to get a cool car. We end up with a 1972 911 that we literally paid all our money for. There's zero in the bank account. Didn't know how to drive manual at this point. So 25 years old, don't know how to drive manual. Don't know how to do an oil change. Don't have any tools at the house. No socket set, no wrench, nothing. And we buy this old race car thing, right? And that sort of starts the bug of like slowly working our way back to that like kit car, building a car from scratch idea. And so, yeah, the projects get progressively more difficult. So it starts with an oil change where we promptly poured, I think, 14 quarts of oil all over the downtown LA parking lot. because didn't realize you had to open the vent on the oil catch again. So yeah, really like very like professional, yeah, profound experiences. And then yeah, kind of working our way through it. But again, there was always so there's that initial idea of the kit car. Then there's the coach building thing that we experienced in Italy, right? With the metal shaping and all that stuff, the one-off cars. Then there's basically our love for 1960s, 70s racing, which we never experienced, but we glamorize, right? Romanticize, like, yeah, that would have been cool. Yeah, like all your friends are dying every weekend. Yeah, that's sick. Because they're not our friends. So we love that. And then you add the layer of basically Hollywood storytelling from our LA Art Center experience, right? So you take all those elements, you mix them up, and that's why we started with like the alternate history, rewriting history. What if the 911 was this Le Mans racer thing? And that builds out the story of like the original car, the half 11, which kind of was supposed to be a business card for Oil Stain Lab, what we can do, blah, blah, blah. But I think that's loosely how it kind of came about. But yeah, we've always loved hot rods, right? Like Chip Foose, Connington, all that stuff. It's just the proportions, right? It's like that's what's missing these days in car design. It's proportions, and that's the one thing hot rodders do always is like stretch the wheelbase, chop the roof, do these things. It's so different than tuner culture. Again, probably gonna piss people off, but it's like, okay, you slap some wider fenders on. Who cares? Like the car is just wider. That's not it. That the proportions haven't changed. It just looks stupid now. So yeah. Anyway, that's my rant.
Yeah. When I look at it, it has. I mean, I think that's what catches me or caught me, is it's got a lot of hot rod in it. It's I started like doing highboy roadsters and 30s highboy hot rods. And there's just something about like, I mean, that car, it's got some highboy in it. Like the tires aren't completely covered. I don't know what you call that in your world, but there's so much meat showing, which it just grabs you and pulls you in when you see all that tire, especially on like a 15-inch wheel, those big fat Avons and all the race car stuff that draws you in. It's so much hot rod, so much race car. And yeah, I mean, ultimately, it was LS powered. It's built kind of like a hot rod, right? The first time around, it was just a hand-built body. And how did that come from an idea or a sketch? You guys obviously designed it to starting to materialize out of metal. Is that in the garage? Is that making a connection with somebody that's like, hey man, we've got a welder, we can notch tubes.
Yeah.
You're like, let's do this.
I mean, that's it's a complicated question. It's a slippery slope, right? You start with one thing, you end up with another thing. Are you familiar with Avion Voisin, like a French company out of the 30s, 20s and 30s? They did a lot of really cool sedans that were like super hot roddy. So they're like the old Rolls Royces, but just slammed roofs, big,
I've seen the cars. I'm familiar with the cars. Yeah,
they're so cool. I don't know. I think hot rods just look cool. Like it's just cool. How did it start? So I mean, we bought that Marlboro, then we took like another 911, kind of did a few sort of simple tweaks to it. This was when the 911 bubble was going like crazy, so we ended up flipping that car because it drove like crap. Looked cool, but it drove like crap. And then we built an RSR tribute from scratch, so took it down to bare metal, then glued like fiberglass fenders onto it, right? And that was an experience. And so like the challenges got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it got to the point where we managed to buy a 911 chassis for $500. Dude wanted it gone that day, so we went to Home Depot, which was next door, built a dolly in his parking lot, and because he wouldn't give us his dolly, and he had forklifted it on there, and then we like trailer that thing home, and we're like, cool, we got a 911. What are we gonna do with it? And again, it's that progression. And so it's like, okay, so we built basically the craziest 911 you can from history that's kind of like authentic. And we're always pushing limits. We're like, okay, well, let's go further. Like, Singer's doing really cool stuff. Gunther Works is doing cool stuff. Theon is doing cool stuff. Like 911 is our the moment. This is 20, what, 2018, 17, something like that, where this was still an idea. And, things are just, we're like, okay, well, it's a very congested field, but also it's an opportunity to do something that no one's seen or done, and just like quirky, right? Just be weird, push the limits. And so my brother ended up coming home with a sketch of Porsche Interscope Indy car. The back half of it slammed into the front of a 911. And we both looked at it and we're like, that's it. So we're
Nice.
So yeah.
You mentioned
that started it.
the hot rod look and the stuff. The funny thing I'm thinking about as you're talking about it, when I was really, really young, drawing and sketching, I drew two things, and that was like guns, but like weirdo space guns and stuff like that. Had 50 attachments and kept going because it was just like little, ballpoint pen and ink, like on notebook paper, just hundreds of. But then spaceships, right? So spaceships, because you start with your first spaceship, it's simple, like lines, right? And you can make things look fast, and you keep doing. Then you start expanding on them and making them longer and larger. When my parents were, I remember going to Star Wars, right? I'm a big Star Wars geek, so I love Star Wars. And then any of the speedsters, right? The speeders. Yeah. Then you start drawing, speeders and spaceships, right? But then now they don't have to have like, in fully enclosed cabin, and you start making them like hover, and they got that open mouth. Like the very first half 11, that thing reminds me of a speeder, right? So it looks like it could be, you got that little steampunk, like they maybe made it out of some spacecraft parts and stuff like that. And that's just, for me, that's what it, like, I see that and I'm like, oh yeah, I could see like, Luke Skywalker. Like if it had to have wheels, like that's just, I don't know. I wanted to go
Awesome.
there. It's just a thing that I see.
Awesome.
That's cool. I've just never been a Star Wars guy, so
I know.
I have a hard
yeah,
time
you don't have this, as eclectic taste as I do.
Yeah, I mean, I know we've done a lot of pretty cool hot rods. I can't remember at any point standing back and looking at it and like Googling Star Wars.
Star Wars
stuff.
over Star Trek?
Just
Star Wars over Star Trek all day long. Yeah. You're more a Star Trek guy?
Nice. Proper. I agree.
Yeah.
I'll just sit this one out.
Yeah, I think for us, another influence at the time was we were obsessed with vintage modifieds, the asphalt modifieds. And so just the stance, the proportions, again, it's taking a cabin that's original, but like you're pulling it way back and you're slamming it, and it's has nothing to do with the production car, but there are big hot rod elements that we certainly pulled from. But like I said, we have so much love and respect for hot rod culture because they actually changed the proportions, which I think is the most important thing.
How much time did you spend on sketch, line work, and ideation before starting to build? And then when you did start to build, was it, we've already got the plan, or how much did it change along the way?
Yes, I mean, it changed a lot. This was a project that, I mean, to this day, I still pinch myself where it's ended up and where it's gone. And even this silly thing behind me, I'm just like, how the hell did we get here? It started off, as I've sort of said, I mean, literally an Indy car slammed into a 911. So the idea was the bodywork stopped where the passenger door, driver door would on a 911, everything would be exposed behind it, right? So it's kind of the opposite of a Model T bucket or whatever, right? Everything exposed in the back. That was the original concept, and that's what we designed and did. And to be honest, there's not a lot of design there because you just take the 911 door panels, we cut the dashboard down, we sectioned it, just like hot rodders do, like lowered the cowl, lowered all that stuff. And then, we were posting on the internet our progress. We had never done, as I've said about my background, like we'd never really worked on cars, never done metal shaping, never did welding, never did anything. So we worked with a guy called Jake originally to build the bodywork and learned how to weld, learned how to metal shape, learned all that ourselves, along with working with him. But as we were posting it online, the reaction was weird. It was like this weird, people were excited, but they didn't really understand it. But they were like, you're going to refine it, right? And we're like, no, we're not going to refine it. They're like, but if you refine it, it's like a cool car. And like, you know, like it would be cooler if you refine it. And that's where we, I guess, learned how to use social media as like a design filter in a way. And part of those alternate history images that we were creating was, again, to anchor ourselves in the past. Like we're always working in the future, we're always creating future trends, this, blah, blah, blah. But with this one, we anchored ourselves in the past, but also in like modern day sensibilities and like aesthetics, and trying to blend those two without losing our vision. But I think it made there's the great theory of like the intelligence of the group or whatever. It's like if you ask everybody to guess how many jelly beans are in a jar and you average it all out, you'll actually get pretty close. If you exclude like the weirdo guys that are like, there's two. Yeah. Like clearly there's not two.
That's the dude who's like, shouldn't have chopped it. Shouldn't have chopped it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, we're really grateful, I guess, for the community that sort of, took that project, gave us all the feedback. I mean, we had so many haters, and our egos for sure at the start took, a lot of hits. But I mean, we are very stubborn. So it's like, if we believe in something, I don't care if the entire world says it's wrong. If I really believe that it's better or it's the way, we'll still do it. And we'll prove to everybody that it's the right thing, which finally happened at Goodwood. Like that project, when it went to Goodwood, that car went to Goodwood, that was its moment of like middle finger to all the haters, to everybody. It was just like, all right, like we did it, we made it.
How does it even come about?
It looks good.
I know we're changing our arc and story, but I want to know, how does Goodwood happen?
Yeah. I honestly, half this project and this trajectory, I don't know how it like happened. I mean, it's been a dream, right? You watch it, you see it every year, you stream it. It's never been before. Through a couple of no. So we filmed. So Goodwood film crew was in LA, and they reached out and they're like, "Hey, we want to film with you guys." And we're like, "Okay, cool." And we filmed with them. We had a little bit of an accident during the filming, which will never be exposed of what happened, but we may have had a slight suspension failure. But no, I mean, they loved the project, and they were like, "Look, you guys should come to Goodwood." And we're like, "Okay, cool." So thinking like we had an invite, I reached out to Goodwood officially. I was like, "Hey, so like these guys said like we should go." And then they gave me the price for an entry, and I was just like, "Oh, well, sorry, we spent all our marketing budget this year, so this is not gonna happen." Eventually, through some mutual friends, basically, we're able to talk to some high up people, and we got invited for basically free, and that's what made it happen. But having said that, when you get invited for free, you still need to bring a team. You need to ship a car from California to the UK, and not by boat, because that takes like 4 months, and there's corrosion. So it's like it's going by, which is not cheap. So that was just the start of the journey. Then you got to get sponsors on board. You got to book like Airbnbs. I think we were 14 or 15 people that went over. So it was, the car literally made it to the airport and its paperwork by 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
If the paperwork was 2 hours later, it would not have made the flight, and we would not have been in Goodwood. So it was, wow. It was crazy.
For somebody that doesn't get an invite like that and wants to register a car, what's the price point? What's for registering a car?
I think it varies on how cool your car is, honestly. And I don't want to say the number. Okay. I'm going to respect their.
Yeah, that's fine. I didn't know if that was like a public knowledge thing, or we would at some point. It would just be, that would be such a neat thing.
It's going to happen.
We've got some crazy stuff in the works that would be appropriate.
Oh, they would love you
if it gets across the finish line.
It'll happen.
Dude, the Brits love V8s. Like, you guys, when you're ready, let me know. We can put in a word with our people. Talk to your people, our people, your people. We'll make it happen.
Your people.
I'll tell you this, the sound of that car though there, I mean, God, what a just awesome but violent, just, oh, I love it. That was, I mean, so fucking American there too, just ear piercing.
I'm trying to find a video, see if it was on there.
Yeah, I watched that countless times, really. That
Elliot, he'll pull it up right now.
We could plug that.
Elliot will pull it up.
I mean, all credit goes to our driver. So we were originally, again, they like Goodwood reached out and they're like, hey, do you want to be in the time group? And I was like, isn't everybody timed? Like, of course we want to be in the group. Little did I know that it's only like 40 cars that are timed. It's a special competition group. There's like extra scrutineering. And also your driver needs to have an FIA license or some sort of regional license that basically they accept. I'm like, oh, so I can't drive. Sweet. Cool. So I just like literally screwed myself. And then we had to find a driver. And we found this guy, Gabriel Aubry. He's done Le Mans 7 times. But like the reason we picked him is because he's 5'4". And
it's like
fit into our car.
It's like me.
Somebody that would fit.
Fit in anything.
Yeah. I'm like 5'6", and like even in that car, I have to like kind of like when I wear a helmet and a Hans, like I have to like tilt my head a little bit. Yeah. So I mean, honestly, that video, that the whole way the car was perceived, it's all thanks to Gabby. I told him, like, I don't know how fast we are. We were pretty fast, but just make noise. Just make the most noise that you possibly can. And he killed it. I mean, he'd never driven it before. The warm-up drive was from a place called Kiklo Spaces to Goodwood. So it's about, I think, 15 miles on UK back roads. And we would just stop and like do burnouts in front of restaurants. And like everyone would come out and be like, what the hell's going on? It was, yeah. I mean, we caused some mischief. It was good. But yeah, big thanks to Gabby. He's, pretty remarkable. Yeah. He made us look really, really good.
Yeah, the car presented really well. Just for being a random guy watching it on YouTube, it was awesome. It was really awesome.
I mean, it's awesome, everything that you guys have done. I mean, obviously, right? The whole, when it blew up at Goodwood, it's blown up all over the internet. It's absolutely fucking beautiful. I mean, the changes of the liveries and adding a top, you've gotten so much life out of it. I'm so interested along the way of like, these are two brothers that are super talented car designers. You've talked about, the different jobs and the stuff, and it's, a lack of fulfillment or a different idea with, corporate and stuff like that. And it's from this one to this one to this one. You're building this. Like, where's the business model plan, or who's paying? Like, how does this happen? Because it's like, I'm not trying to be an asshole. Like, I'm not. I wish you all the best, and it's amazing what you've done. But at some point, like you said, you knew that when you finished in school, like, hey, we've got to find a job, right? We've got to pay for this. You go through all that. What's the business case at this point? Like, you know what? We've built this badass thing. We're going to Goodwood. Let's just keep taking the ride. But along the ride, like, what's paying the bills?
Yes, I mean, as far as that project was concerned, that was all self-funded, completely, entirely. Yeah, I mean, we were lucky enough to, be fairly successful and be fairly in demand. We ran Oil Stain Lab as a design consultancy on the side. So I'll never forget, we had a lot of help. Again, like, I'm not a fabricator, so we had a lot of help along the way, right? There's a phenomenal guy, maybe you guys know him, Riley Stair out of Sacramento. He built that crazy Firebird, the white one that revs to like 10,000 RPM.
Cool car.
So Riley helped a lot on the fabrication and making this car what it is. But I remember he came back with a bill that we weren't like prepared for. And it was like, oh,
like, that's when you hit him with the
shit. Dude. So my brother went and basically we found a client and worked. and yeah, we found a client. We're like, okay, like we don't really advertise our services or anything, but it's like when, yeah, let's say shit hits the fan, then it's like, yeah, you got to go and you got to find the money. Then that's what we do. So found a client and that paid for that bill, but it's not like easy for us, right? Because we were working day jobs and then we have to go and do this extra job, So that was probably a 2 months of working post regular job, going to bed at like 2 a.m., waking up at, 7 a.m. to go to your regular job. So yeah, we weren't born with, yeah, crazy money or anything. And we've had to, as glamorous as the whole thing looks, there's a lot of like, yeah, gritty, long hours behind
Yeah.
it, unfortunately.
No
So,
doubt.
or fortunately,
I
when you
mean,
look at it.
at the end of the day, they built something kind of on the side. It just happened to be really, really cool. Like, think about it.
Amazingly cool.
How many dudes are working a day job and they come home and they're thrashing on like, whatever it may be. Maybe it's a Ford Maverick drag car, and it's over the
That's
time. And they
badass.
spend years and years in the garage, and then take it down the strip and put that fucker into the wall on day one. Like, if you had the vision, the style, the talent, it's still the same monetary investment and the same time investment. They just made something fucking awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Well, that was the scariest part about Goodwood, right? Because we told Gabby to basically fully send it, and we were fully prepared for this car that we had invested, 5-6 years to be in the wall, right? And let's face it, that car is not a safe car, right? So then you also are risking, in a way, Gabby, because it's not a, I mean, it's a tube frame car with a 911 and welded to
But
it, right?
you don't tell him that, obviously. You're like, dude, fuck it.
Dude, it's super safe.
He's short. He's short. There's plenty of crumples on him. He's short.
That kind of goes back to your whole plan A philosophy, though. Like, the plan is go out there and fucking send it, right? And whatever else happens, like, don't worry about what else.
Go out there and make the absolute best showing that you can on the biggest stage that you have.
Yes.
And then that's it.
Yeah.
You're not going to go out there and timid and be like, just like give it 80%.
There's no in between.
No.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And but I will say, like, I'm a bit of a control freak, and like I would have preferred to be driving that car at Goodwood because I know I probably wouldn't, crash it. Those minutes of when Gabby would flash by us, and we had inclement weather there. It was like raining. There was wet leaves. There was wet straw in there. There were, in the final run group, there were 4 cars out of 20 that crashed.
Ooh.
So like, it's such a hard feeling. I don't know how like team owners do it in racing or whatever, but like, yeah, that was hard. That was really hard for both my brother and I. Yeah, that was the most difficult part of Goodwood. Do not recommend. If you're going to go to Goodwood, go first as a spectator, enjoy it. Second time, bring your car, because otherwise you don't get to enjoy it as much.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, it's just nonstop.
Worried about
stress. That car that was LS3, LS7 with are they 8-into-1s? The headers on it?
Yeah. LS3 block. It's bored and sleeved, dry sump, ITBs, and then 3D printed 8-into-1 Inconel headers that my brother designed. So yeah, pretty trick. That's where the sound comes from.
Like a symphony, man.
Yeah. Sounds
every
amazing.
time those are the type of motors that every time you find yourself lusting for more cylinders, like a V10 or V12, and then you hear that and you're like,
just need to do 8-in-1. Yeah. I don't need a bigger motor. I just need like hood.
It sure sounds good.
Yeah.
So at this point in time right now, are you full blown? Y'all are full time. You have the design studio still? Are you working for anybody?
Yes. So, I mean, we weaned off our clients probably around 2023. Most clients. Of course, if one of them comes to us and they're in emergency, we'll help them out. But we basically, I would say full time on Oil Stain Lab. Me personally, that's been, yeah, basically 3 years with more or less salary. My brother was working at Canoe and kind of juggling the business for quite a little bit, but he's full time now as well. So, yeah, we were able to get an angel to help us through the initial sort of portion of the build, which funded most of the R&D, engineering, et cetera. But yeah, even that, I mean, that makes it seem so easy. But yeah, prior to getting an angel or whatever, I mean, I think my brother and I talked with, yeah, people in business, read a bunch of books. So for 2 years, we studied business, investment, startups, all that sort of stuff, before kind of committing to it. That's not taught in design school. My dad has a PhD in business, but he hasn't really helped me that much. It's like, that's a crazy idea. What are you doing?
It's crazy the amount of knowledge that a car has brought you. Like to make it, like, just to say it that simply, like all the things that you have learned and the skills that you've acquired
because of a car.
Yeah, because of a car. That's wildly impressive, man. I mean, crazy.
Well, and the experiences that you've been able to experience, like places. Like I think about that. We've talked about it before.
Yeah.
Knowledge is one thing, but the places that you've gone, the people that you've met, the relationships that you've built, the memories that you have now, they're only because of a mode of transportation.
Yeah.
It's, when you break it, I mean, it's really, really wild to think that it's like, it's a non-necessity that has shaped so many lives.
Yeah.
I want to get to the angel part and identifying the customer and stuff like that, and this next build of taking it, to a grander scale.
Mm-hmm.
I also, now that where you're at, I'm looking at this, masterpiece in the back behind you. I've seen everything that you're doing on social media. I've listened to a couple of other interviews you've done of where this is going. Have you thought about what this vehicle is going to be and the customer that it's going to be at the price point that it's going to be, and think back about the Volkswagen that you were working on when the economy was crashing and you're like, this is crazy because nobody needs this?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think it's very, very valid. I think
that's not a dig at all. That's not a dig at all. I'm with you 100%.
No. And I think it's extremely valid. And I think given our upbringing, our background and everything, I think every day we have to sort of, pinch ourselves, almost slap ourselves like, what the hell are you doing? Right. For us, yeah, it's insane. Granted, when you look at inflation, for me, I remember when the Chiron came out and McLaren F1 came out, they were $1 million, and that was unheard of, right?
Yeah.
Around 2000. I did the inflation adjustment. That's $2 million. So that's more than our car. So now I don't feel as
Dude, there's always a way to justify
Other way
it, right?
just to justify it, baby. Justify it.
But I think for us, it's a end to a goal, right? Or we have a bigger vision for the company. There's a bigger product plan in place, but you need to create something that establishes yourself in the marketplace. And you need to do it in such a way that you are unique and different, et cetera. And I mean, we do that with basically our powertrain, our chassis design and everything, which is radically different than everybody. Yes, it costs a lot of money to develop. Yes, carbon fiber tubs are really, really expensive and take many, many years to develop. And the scale of it is, we're only building 25 cars. So the R&D needs to be amortized across that. But the goal is to get to a point where we scale to a much more affordable product. I mean, sorry, there's an ambulance driving by. We never forget who the true enthusiasts are, not true enthusiasts, but like the everyday achievable enthusiast, right? And it's really sad, I think, what's in the marketplace these days. There's nothing there, right? There's almost nothing there from a new manufacturer. And so I think you see a lot of people moving towards resto mods, hot rods, et cetera, because that's the only way they can experience like a simple, authentic driving experience without, the marketplace is not great, but we also need to start in a place where 25 units make sense. And, we can't, we tried, and you can't do it for less, basically. So
yeah, for the,
that's where it's at. I can't justify it.
From a price point standpoint. I mean, it's easily justifiable. I mean, we build things from, essentially scratch every day. It's shocking how quick the numbers escalate. But
no, I wasn't giving you any type of shit for what you're built, the creation of it, and
but
the
I
cost
struggle
of it.
with it myself.
It's just you had mentioned it before of like what you were seeing and what you had grown up like, and you're like, holy crap! It's just interesting. I want to know if the HF11, which is what we're seeing there, which is the initial run of 25 cars, if the HF11 and bringing that to the market on a grander scale than what you've done with the half 11, is that going to scratch the itch, so to speak, for or did the half 11 do that, and now you scratch that itch, and now you've identified a new platform? Is there still something that you're trying to, I guess, satiate the appetite of you and your brother from years ago with this next platform, or is this the next thing that you've identified to go down?
Gosh, great question. I mean, I think from how do I say this? So the HF11, the original car, the half 11, that is my brother and I's pure distillation of what we love, what we want, and it is completely non-commercial in any way, shape, or form, right? If your car only fits a 5'4" driver with a helmet, like you've pretty much failed.
You've narrowed your audience.
Yes, to rich short guys.
But the Italians told you just to fold the guy up tighter. It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah. So to me, that car, I mean, that really finished any sort of 1960s dream. We were fortunate enough to have like Rick Knoop drive our car, and he's driven all the Can-Am cars, and he was like, guys, you nailed it. This is the Can-Am experience. Like, you've done it. So I think that scratched that historical itch. This new car we call it the no compromise car. It's taking those 60s values and trying to bring them into the future. So I think part of our frustration in the marketplace is everyone will do a retro car, Ferrari SP3, whatever. I mean, they're beautiful, they're cool, but they're not old cars brought new. They're basically a new car with a retro body kit on it. And what we're aiming for is much more of a kind of a vintage experience, more of the hot rod experience, that sort of simpler, more authentic experience. And so everything in that car is catered towards doing that. And with extreme minimalism on the body, design-wise, function, everything. I think it's kind of, if we can achieve this project to the goals that we've set, we would basically jump anything that we worked on in the industry and anything that the industry's working on, right? So it proves, maybe scratches our ego a little bit, that a really small, intense SWAT team can outperform basically the OEMs, right? That, I think, not the driving factor, but to create a car that is more in our vein. Everyone says it's impossible. You can't do it because of crash. You can't do it because of emissions. You can't do it because of this. You can't do it because of that. Well, you can. You just need to work harder and smarter. Is there another project that we will want to do after? Yes. So, I mean, the more affordable car. We're working on that internally. We're developing it. We're trying to figure out the business case and the model and the pricing and everything. But I think that would be another thing to create that would really challenge what, I guess, enthusiast cars have become over the last, 2 decades. I think they've sort of missed the mark pretty badly.
Yeah, there's a hole there, man. I mean, it sounds like, if I could get inside your head, you seem to be into that raw auxiliary driving experience, and there's little to nothing out there that exists currently to get that with. I mean, maybe like an Ariel Atom, it might be. I've never driven one, but I'm also, no offense, I get it. It's not for me from a style standpoint, but I don't know of anything else that's like raw, and maybe not.
Phil's race Miata. I mean, obviously that's a different.
Yeah, but other than that, but that's what I would have a massive. I mean, I would be a customer for that. I'm always seeking out. There's, very bespoke things that exist, but nothing on a grand scale or that's easily obtainable.
The easy attainable, but also not something that is such a scale that you probably wouldn't want to drive it at the way that it was meant to be driven.
Sure.
I mean, you could, the Can-Am car. Like, there's some stuff you could get but like,
right,
value of it. Yeah, you're probably right. They probably have nailed that.
I think, I mean, for us also, we've gone from sort of designing cars to designing almost like product segments and stuff. And so I think with this new car, there's not a lot of things that are, let's say, collectible 150 grand, right? There's not a lot of things. They're basically expendable, there's planned obsolescence, all this. So I think for us, one of those things is, even if, how could you create a collectible at like 150 grand? Yeah. How could you do that? I mean, obviously numbers have to be limited, but then if you control the merchandise system or the purchase system, you don't allow dealers to do markup. Do you give, how do you allocate those cars? How do you create that system? So for us, it's much bigger than just the car. Like, we're trying to, challenge, I guess, the way things are done. So.
I'm getting that. I'm getting that a lot. And that's what I was going to ask you next is, do you and your brother have a chip on your shoulder towards the OEs, right? And is this a show them that, like, you guys have been doing it wrong, and it could be both. Are you hoping there's somebody somewhere at one of these OEMs or multiples that opens their eyes and sees that there's another way?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we have a chip on our shoulder, because I think, we, like I said, I was fired from GM. I have no issues with that. I think that was the best thing that ever happened to me. No chip on our shoulder. I think what we do see is that basically, cars have been, and again, we're talking about new cars, right? And the new car market is just this extreme paralysis and extreme budget cutting and sort of this, what's the word? I mean, they're just stuck in their old ways, right? And there's clearly a better way. There's clearly an opportunity for things to do that would be better. And for us, we always start with the client, the customer. Like, what would make them happy? Do you think a Porsche customer is happy going in and paying 150 grand over MSRP to get the car? Like, they're not happy about that. And it's like, how do you fix that, right?
Do you think that
we're super? I was just going to say, we're super grateful for our time in OEM, because we couldn't do any of this without having been in the system. But been in the system, we know now how we can, I think, subvert it, break it, and actually create good things for people. Again, it's like happy clients, happy people.
Well, who shares? Do they share the blame, or is one more to blame? You've got the OEs, then you've got the customers, and then you got the federal government, right? But at the same time, you think about the marketplace right now. No, I'm sure that there's a vast majority of Porsche owners that would rather buy that car cheaper, right? There's a lot of guys out there that can't afford it that would like to have it. But that's a whole different discussion. Would Porsche be what they are now if it was a more affordable car? It's a completely different conversation. But are the OEs to blame for not making more inspiring cars, or the customers? Is that many more customers at mass demanding a more inspiring car? We laugh about it all the time. Going back to a Toyota, right? A Toyota Camry. Toyota Camry is a great mode of transportation, but they sell a shit ton, and they have sold a shit ton of champagne colored Toyota Camrys. And nobody's buying that because they're inspired and that's the only thing that they can get. They're buying it for a mode of transportation. And that group, that audience continues to get larger and larger and larger. So is it, I mean, the OEs are a company, like it's a business. Like they they make a certain amount of Z06s and they've, didn't make the Camaro anymore because not enough people were buying them and people wanted to buy an SUV and so I don't know. You've studied the marketplace. You know the customer better than we do on that. So what's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, you're absolutely right. So, I mean, I think we've seen plenty of times when customers have demanded, a brown manual wagon, and then a manufacturer makes that and no one buys it, right? No surprise there. I do think, to bring it back to like Hyundai, right? I think Hyundai's been able to energize and create compelling product. They are probably spending more money, and they're probably risking things with warranties, et cetera. But I think they are gaining some market share, right? And they are making profit, and they are going Le Mans racing with Genesis, and they're doing these cool things. So, I mean, yeah, I don't think you can blame it on anybody, but I think what is really missing these days, and, it's that boutique manufacturer, right? So I think nobody's ever been able to figure this out. Well, not recently, but how could you build 300 to 1,000 cars a year and make money, right? And it's never been easier really to do that now with all of the, first of all, the AI tools, the rapid manufacturing, micromanufacturing, 3D printing, all of the digital tools. You can actually do these things now. So I don't think we can expect OEMs to do that. I think you need to have startups that see that opportunity and do it. But even like brands like Ferrari, I mean, they're building 20,000 cars a year now. I mean, it's crazy. Like the production numbers are massive, right? So, yeah, I think the enthusiast market is really small. I think we're a very vocal group. We love our brown manual wagon, but the reality is there's 5 dudes that'll actually buy that. And so you need to figure out a way, okay, how do we make money at a small scale? Right. And we can't expect OEMs to do that. OEMs will never, they won't consider it unless it's like, $50,000 a year, right?
Right.
So
yeah, they're monsters, man. I mean, it's not even an option for them to look at something like that. Or if they do, it's such a specialty vehicle like the Mustang, the GTD.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I don't know what the production numbers are on it, but that's also
300 and something
at $300,000. But that's a very cool car. But it's the classic, like,
it's a brand builder.
Yeah, it's the classic like Harley Davidson scenario. It's only so cool. And when Sucker Punch Sally and the other guys came out, that was the raw experience. And they were doing those in the hundreds. Yeah. But it's just a different animal.
It is. I mean, it is wild when you think, like, going back to Hyundai and Genesis, right? So Genesis, like the separation of that brand and making its own thing or whatever was genius. I think there's some stuff that they've done that's absolutely amazing. I think, time has said that those cars are really, really well built and they hold up really, really well, and it's a great value. I mean, you're getting S-Class plus amenities, for half the price, in some sense. The thing that I see about Genesis, which is, it's interesting that you're going to have people that are, say, playing in the Acura, Lexus, Toyota, Honda, some of those worlds are going to step up, right? They're going to be like, okay, no problem. I'm going to go up to the Genesis. I'll spend the extra 10, maybe 15, and I'm going to get something. But I'm not seeing in mass over the last 10 years that you're getting the people from the BMW and the Mercedes to step down, to be like, they haven't built the aspirational brand part of it. They haven't been like, hey, guess what? You're going to get an S-Class for half the price. But let's face it, the guy that goes out and buys the S-Class, he's going to lose 25% of his value in the first 12 months anyway. He's not buying it for the value. He's buying it because it's a fucking S-Class. He's buying it for the Mercedes. He's buying it because it's an aspirational brand. So he's not going to be like, hey, guess what? I'm going to tell my wife, we're going to save $100K. I'm buying you a Genesis. It's still got the shades in the back, and it actually rides just as good, and it's got all this stuff. But you got to tell your your girlfriends that you're driving a Genesis. Like that's the problem in the gap that they live in. And what I wonder is if you've thought about any of that portion of it with what you're doing when you're going to go to the top and come down. That's a better way of doing it for a guy to be like, oh shit, it's the same guys that made the whatever it's going to be. I'm guessing I don't know if you've put a price out for the car, but I'm guessing you're going to be in the like 1.6 range, something like that. I mean, I'm just a complete guesstimation.
Really close.
Okay. So, guessing what else is out there in the space in a run of 25, I'm completely guessing. But you build that brand there, and then in 2 years it's like you said, the mass produced guys that opens up your audience to the guy that's going to be like, oh, that I couldn't afford that, but it's coming from the same guys and I can afford this, versus the guy you're not going to a $250,000 car and try to go after the 1,000 Bugatti buyers a year or something like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a totally valid point. I mean, just to build on the the Genesis Mercedes thing. So in the industry, we call that smart luxury, where it's like you choose luxury because you're smart. It's like it never really works. They're always like also weirdly packaged. They're like, yeah, we're like longer than a 3 Series, but shorter than a 5 Series. Like we're in between. We're smart luxury.
Yeah.
It's just confusing.
You gotta have some angle.
And then, I mean, just as a demographic point of view, I mean, I haven't reviewed it recently, but the S class is like their income per year is so high. It's like double or triple a BMW 7 Series owner. So like wow. Mercedes S class is its own level. Those guys, they will never get anything else. That's like true wealth, true power. Like you've made it, right? Otherwise, then yeah, you go Bentley, Rolls Royce or something. But yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying. I think yeah, for us, what's been interesting about kind of building the brand is, we'll take this car here behind us and we'll go to a Cars and Coffee, right? And we're not like, I think the other big expensive car companies are like, no, we'll wait for Car Week or we'll wait for the International Auto Show and then we'll have the car and it'll be behind ropes and no one's allowed to come near it and close to it. So I think part of our thing is we're really building community because we're part of it. Like we go drive our Porsches with these guys. Like, why wouldn't we show them the new car that we're building? Whether you can buy it or not doesn't really matter for us as much as, building cool things and sharing it with people. So yes, this is a hyper exclusive car. It's, a lot of money. But the brand doesn't need to be exclusive. The brand can actually be really inclusive. And I think that will bode well for the future product because, again, kind of like what you said, I mean, if we build this thing and it's successful and people love it and we say, hey, we're going to build a more affordable one, I think people would line up for that. And we would certainly hope to deliver a product that would, live up to it. So I think that's our strategy. Like you kind of nailed it on the head. But I think the big one for us is to be as inclusive as possible, despite building the most exclusive things like in the world, basically, apart from jets and yachts.
Yeah,
well,
that's cool.
Let's get into the details of this exclusive masterpiece. How much of the suspension geometry and design is carried over and refined from the half 11?
Zero. There's zero carryover between the cars. The only thing we've sort of tried to do is keep the design as close as possible visually, although we've streamlined the new car. It's got a lot more 3D compared to the original car. I keep looking over there because the original car is over there. So I'm just looking at it for reminders. So the new car, we started with the occupant. So as I alluded, the old car, 5'4", the helmet, like, you're great. This one, we tried to fit a 6'4" person with a helmet in it, and still meet basically rollover guidelines, regulations. So
How happy did that make you from a design standpoint, starting out with that package?
Oh boy. Oh boy. It's we thought we had did the little Italian trick where we pretzeled the occupant in there. But the engineer, carbon engineer that's developing the tub, the team, Andrew's the lead engineer on it, and he came back and he was like, guys, like, so the car's actually designed to run no windshields potentially if we want to, so no windshield, so you have rollover angles there. He decided that he was going to honor the F1 rollover regulations as opposed to the GT3 regulations. So that allows for an extra 25 millimeters in seatbelt slot. So that meant we had to raise the roof an extra, inch and a quarter. Not a great day in the design studio,
No,
but
inch
a
and a
good
quarter is
day
like a mile.
for safety.
Safety prevailed.
Yeah,
It's
so, I mean,
ruined. It's fucking
it,
ruined. I can see that day.
It's we have to remind ourselves that it's still lower than an Aventador. It's still okay.
Yeah.
It's still extremely low, but it's not. The original car was what, 20, no, 30, 37 and a half inches tall, something like that.
Oh, good
Like
grief.
really small.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, new car started with driver. Then typically we started with kind of an aero strategy. I think, the Valkyrie's come out. I think the Valkyrie is a beautiful shape combination of engineering, design, aero, everything. And it just looks so utterly crazy futuristic, design wise, like, it's not exactly my cup of tea, but it's very functional. And from that comes a certain beauty. So we decided, okay, kind of the brief was if we take a Singer 911 and we merge it with a Valkyrie, that's what we're building. Like that was the brief. And so, yeah, we kind of just pursued every avenue that way. Okay, how can we make the aero as effective, but also as invisible, right? Because you have these two polar opposites, kind of a 911 resto mod, very minimal, not very functional, opposed to this highly functional, but really uncomfortable, horrible thing to use like every day, and blending those two together. That's kind of what we were trying to do, I guess. Yeah.
That's a beautiful piece, man. Absolutely gorgeous.
How much of is it full monocoque, carbon monocoque?
So yeah, it's a carbon monocoque from front firewall, let's say just out of the pedals to the rear firewall. And then on the front, we have basically CNC aluminum subframes. At the rear, we have a steel tubular chassis that goes down to basically the uprights and engine mounts and all that stuff. But on that tube frame, we've got full CNC ends. So every end is beautiful. The way it blends into it, it's not just tubes welded into each other. They're fully CNC, they're hollow, they're pretty cool. They're works of art. That's what you pay for. It costs money.
Yeah. The on the uprights and stuff there, is it all completely bespoke and one-off, or are you repurposing any other vehicles parts?
Everything is bespoke except we use already developed calipers and rotors. Bearings are carryover from a vehicle. Windshield wipers a carryover. Windshield is a carryover. Turn signal internals are a carryover, and air conditioning switches are a carryover. Steering column is a carryover because it's tilt telescope, and like there's no way we're engineering that. I think that's it.
Side glass is custom.
Side glass is custom, yeah.
Side glass is significantly cheaper than a windshield custom, is it not? That shit is stupid.
Yeah, so we originally had a quote for the original car, half 11. It was 35 grand a windshield, more or less, with a 50% failure rate. So
you know what?
Yeah, not great, not great. And then when we thought about, okay, like if clients have a chip in their window and they're, I don't know, living in Australia, and we're gonna have to go get these windshields made, or we're carrying an inventory of like 5 of these windshields, which is like 5 times whatever.
Yeah, 35,000.
None of this needs done.
Yeah,
So we're just like, all right.
The marine industry is an interesting place when you start looking at glass. I've got a few resources that I reached out to on a few projects that were shockingly, I wouldn't say affordable, but digestible.
Glass?
Yeah, glass.
But not DOT
Safety,
approved.
Not DOT, safety glass or tempered glass.
Right.
Yeah.
For 10 grand extra, you could get Gorilla Glass.
Oh, shit. That's a fucking bargain.
$45,000 windshield.
How early on did you decide on power plant?
Oh, gosh, I think we wanted to stick with flat 6 architecture. And everyone, this is the most controversial thing. We personally think EV has a future. We think EV has an opportunity. So we wanted to design, engineer, and implement the craziest EV powertrain in the world. So those were the 2 sort of goalposts. We've investigated a lot of flat 6 architecture, everything from factory engines, bespoke engines, hot rod engines, shops all around the world. We've sort of narrowed it down to a couple based on, let's say, client feedback. I think the current leading one is actually water-cooled architecture. Just there seems to be an appetite for a car you can use every day that isn't so high-strung, that isn't gonna, grenade itself after 100 hours. So originally we did announce like a crazy air-cooled motor, and that's still slowly moving along. But it seems like the clients actually are like, let's back off that. Let's get a car that I can use every day and I'm not afraid. Yeah. And then for EV, so after Goodwood, that car came back, the 11, the original car. It got converted to EV as a mule. It has an exhaust system. It has 6-speed manual with a real clutch, makes noises. It does everything. You can stall it. It was pretty interesting to drive it in that chassis, which is so analog. It's like a shifter car. And then just to replace the engine. So yes, it wasn't as loud as the LS. Like there's still a lot of work for us to do on the audio experience, let's say. But it was remarkably analog. And it proves, I think, that you can do an analog EV if you just get rid of all the modern silly stuff that all the modern day cars have. So I think, we're as controversial as it is. I think I'm more excited about the EV powertrain and what we're doing and how much it weighs. Like the one we put in there weighed less than the LS.
Wow.
And it's like, I don't know. It seems like a bit of a magic bullet, but no one believes us, but we'll prove them wrong.
Are you excited about that because it's an engineering exercise? It's a problem to solve. Is it you actually think that the driving experience is going to be that much better? And also, you said there's I'm asking 6 questions in one. I get it. I apologize. You also said that you believe that there's a future in EV. Do you believe that there's a future in EV because of free choice and people are going to actually want to do it, or do you think that it's going to be somewhat the only option for a multitude of reasons?
I think the EV landscape, I think it needs to be a choice. I don't think people can be forced into it. I think the current products on the road, we say this all the time. We hate EVs. I've driven, a Pininfarina Battista or whatever. A friend let me sort of drive it. And a remarkable piece of engineering, 2,000 horsepower, insanely fast. But not for me. Absolutely not for me, So I don't think... I'll bring it back to hot rodding. All right. So when the first V8 came out, it wasn't rip, snarling V8 throwing flames out the back with ITBs and a dry sump. It was very pedestrian and agricultural. And it took hot rodders to teach us basically what a V8 could be, right? And now everyone wants a V8. No one wants a V6. They want the V8 swap. And then, you tune it, you turbo, you supercharge it, whatever you do to it. We have the same idea with EV. We genuinely believe that EV has been misapplied in a way for nerds to try and prove that it's better than combustion. It's not better, it's just different. So we're going to work really hard to hot rod and make dangerous EVs, which is what hot rods were. That's and I'm not just saying that because you guys are hot rodders. Like, that's genuinely how we explain it to other people of like what we're doing.
I like that.
That's interesting,
attitude,
man.
I like that.
I'd love to see it. We, Josh and I rented a Tesla Plaid at one point, and it was neat because it was fast, but there's nothing.
You're not gonna tell them where we were at. It was our weekend together.
Our wives were with us too. It wasn't just you and me on a wine country date, but it is fast as hell, but it lacks all that violence and like dangerous hot rod stuff. It's just too easy. Anybody can get in it and just mat it to the floor. I just feel like you want that level of this thing's gonna fucking.
You gotta have some scare. You gotta have some scare factor. I really like that approach to doing, like you said, of making it dangerous. And I think that it does have its place. You said it's not better, it's different. The different factor is always going to be put the EV in a win column, because somebody that's wanting to buy that type of car, he wants it to be different, right? And that's another thing in the
Sure.
column of like, hey, not only is it this, it also is this. From on the OE standpoint or a mass production standpoint, and just a mode of transportation, even if it's a more aspirational brand mode of transportation and it's a nicer car, even if it's, $150,000 plus, of a nice car. My fear with that is just the infancy of the technology now and the rapid pace at which it's growing. It's growing at such a rapid pace, far faster than what cell phone technology is growing at. And even at cell phone technology, the average life of a cell phone, somebody keeps it about a year and a half, right? Year and a half, maybe 2 years, and the new one's coming out, and this one's not as good anymore. At what point does that stabilize? And it's like, I spent X amount of dollars, and I've got the hottest, best, longest range, most power for an EV, and 3 months later, it's getting beat by something else. You don't have that as much in internal combustion engines because it is such an older technology. So yeah, you might have this new ZR1 that comes out that's going to have 1,000 horsepower or something like that. But on mass, on a pony car stuff or whatever, this guy's going to have 520 and this guy's going to have 516 and this guy's going to have this. You don't get just completely annihilated with old technology every 8-10 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think that's a super valid concern, and that's why what we're doing is an order of magnitude ahead of everybody else. So we're building a 2,000-pound EV. There's basically no way to make a car under 2,000 pounds. It's not really possible, right? So I think we've reached the point of, to overuse but like singularity between combustion and EV, right? Will there be more tech that is adopted? Yes and no. So, the technology we use, I don't think the OEMs will use for another decade. We're an order of magnitude ahead of them just because we're willing to take risks that they won't, and we're at a scale that we can do that. So I think, again, we talked about, how far ahead a program needs to be planned for the OEMs. You're looking at 6 to 10 years. Well, guess what? That means you're using 6 to 10-year-old battery technology. So by the time it hits the market, of course it's old because the other guys started 3 years after you. They probably had a quicker development time and then they dropped it and your product's obsolete. So I think we're getting to the point where, again, it's like, if we can build an EV that's lighter than combustion, that has the same range, that can charge in, let's say 8 to 10 minutes, that you can take on track. I think we've gotten to the point where we can, overlook the fact that it's not combustion. And then the things that we personally do in terms of our vehicles with basically real exhaust, danger, the whole experience of it, I think it's pretty compelling. But again, I don't want to convince anybody. That's not our intent is not to be EV evangelists. We jokingly say, like, we are building the worst car for the planet. Like, we're not greenies. We're not trying to save the planet. We're just trying to build a spaceship. That's it. We're just trying to build a spaceship. And we think the tech can do it.
What's coming out of this real exhaust in an EV?
So it's a two-part system. Part of it is cooling, basically, air cooling, just like what it does in an engine, right? Hot air comes out your exhaust. And then the secondary component that we're working on, which I can't talk a lot about because it's basically there's trademarks and patents involved, and we're still not quite through that process, but it's what we call the danger element, and it currently is lethal, so it needs proper shielding. It also creates a little bit of an EMP effect and blocks out, radios, GPS, etc. in the vicinity. So we're working on fixing that, but hot rodders wouldn't care, right?
Yeah. So if you open the glove box and in there's a little switch, like just kind of.
All right, now.
Yeah.
Now,
cool, right?
now I'm sold. Now I'm starting to get excited about it because you do have those.
It's gonna be proper. It's gonna be like like back in the day, exposed like transmission gears in the interior. It's gonna be, we're gonna make sure it's safe, but there needs to be an element of fear and danger, I think, with the technology, and out of that will come respect, and out of respect will come a desire to use it. So. That's kind of our pathway.
Couldn't have said it any better.
I'm sold.
Yeah. It's standard question time. Standard question time brought to you by HRE Wheels. Standard questions by the Standard in Wheels.
They make our wheels. We love those guys.
HRE is the best.
The best.
Yep.
Just a next level, man. You can tell. I can see from sitting over here. You can just see how faceted and nicely machined they are, and it's always something different.
Yeah.
Stands out.
All right, first up, this is going to be, we're going to change it up a little bit, but we'll go old school for the first one. The best piece of advice you've ever received.
Wow. Quite a few, but I think one stands out. Now there's pressure. I'm going to probably butcher this quote, but it was basically like, it was a comparison to a rock star, and it was like, if you're gonna hit the wrong note, at least hit it hard. So like whatever you do, just hit it hard.
That's good, dude. That is great. That's something we've never.
Don't go in timid if you're gonna do it. Yeah. All right. I'm personally gonna bow out of trying to guess anything first car.
I'm bowing out too, man. He's
a mystery man. Him and his brother.
Like Elon Musk over here. I couldn't do it. I can't guess it, man.
Sometimes we will get a feeling for somebody after a 2-hour conversation, and we will try to guess their first vehicle. Your upbringing and your parent situation, and then let's just face it, Canada. There's just, and then you're 14. You're living in it.
I'm throwing something. I'm just going to throw a wild card that just popped in my head, and I'm thinking it's an all-wheel drive Toyota Tercel.
I'm just guessing
like a
that
total anomaly, like just off the wall.
I'm guessing the first vehicle wasn't until after they were 18.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they didn't really have a lot of time to be driving.
No, they were
conquering the world.
Yeah, and even then, I think it was probably public transportation for longer than.
Yeah,
I'm not guessing the first vehicle.
Fire away.
What was your first car?
So first vehicle we bought, because my parents abandoned us. Well, not abandoned us, but they left us, obviously. We had a Dodge Magnum wagon in Art Center. Dodge Magnum wagon. Then my dad upgraded that, which was probably slightly influenced by us, but a used E55 AMG. Which was not a smart decision. We did a lot of stupid shit in that.
Yeah, that's a great car.
It was fantastic. And then after that, we got a Volkswagen GTI. So those were the 3 cars during Art Center. And then first car we actually bought with our own money is going to be an E39 M5.
Okay. Good car.
Good car.
Good car.
Yeah, good car.
Yeah, I just saw this like 1990s Canada in the snow.
That would have been Canada. Yeah, they left.
I missed the whole podcast part. With like
all the things that actually happened and where they were at. I want to know, and I hope it has to do with the E55 in California. This is Jeremy's personal favorite question. He's the one that brought this to the table several years ago. Your most memorable law enforcement interaction story?
This is very obvious. Yeah. Yeah. My brother and I were working at Honda. We decided this was during our Porsche, yeah, racing car stage. We decided to go look at a 911 RSR crazy wide body race car in Scottsdale, Arizona. Drove out there after work. So got there, towards midnight, something like that. Drove this RSR around, and then a monsoon just started. Like, we're raining like crazy. Went to Mickey D's, got some fries. Rain stopped. Didn't buy the car, but we had cash to buy that car with us in an envelope. It was a lot of money.
Yeah.
It was $65,000 in cash.
That was a big envelope.
That's a
Yes.
duffel bag or a briefcase, not an envelope.
Yeah.
And then we were in the E39 M5, and instead of taking the 10 all the way to Phoenix, we thought, okay, let's be smart. Let's take the freeway just north of that, because there's going to be no police enforcement there, and we can just cruise. And so nighttime, trying to beat the rain, trying to get back to work, like not arrive at 6 a.m., take a shower and go to work, like we're speeding. We're bouncing off the 155 limiter most of the time, slowing down occasionally, passing 18-wheelers. And then this, like, we just settle into a cruise at like 130 miles an hour, just cruising. And there's these lights that keep like slowly getting closer and closer and closer. And it's like 20 minutes later, they're like on my bumper. And I'm just like, just go around me, dude. Like, it's an empty freeway. Like, why are you on my bumper? So I start slowing down. I'm like down to 90, down to 80, like still, yeah, very irresponsible, but eh. Then I get pissed. I slam on the brakes and I pull onto the shoulder, and the car flies by me. And as it flies by me, a couple car lengths ahead, it like turns its lights on, and I'm like, oh crap. And it's Arizona, so anything I think over 25 miles an hour, like you're going to prison. And yeah, cop comes over, rolls down the window. He's like, how fast are you going? I'm just like, dude, I don't know, man. I was going pretty fast. Like, like I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, he literally followed me for 30 minutes.
You tell me how fast I was going.
And he's like, okay, license, registration. And he takes it back. And it's 100 degrees. Like, it's so hot and humid, right? And so, you can't have the AC on. So it's like cars off, windows down, trying to make them as comfortable as possible. My brother he's just joking. He's like, well, at least we got your bail money right here. Like, everything should be fine, right? After an hour, we literally sat there for over an hour. He came back and he said, my printer's not working. I'm going to get into a lot of trouble. I'm going to let you go.
Wow.
Oh.
And so
Damn.
completely let me go. Turns out he was a car guy. Asked to see pictures of the Porsche race car. Asked us about the M5. He's like, oh man, I know these things are on the Autobahn. They'll do 200, like, And then we reminisced about the Madonna Clive Owen commercials a little bit, whatever that BMW on the M5. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. But yeah, totally got away with
That's great.
Absolute lunacy. So
It's the best story.
Every once in a while, you get lucky.
If you get a car guy, it seems like, it doesn't matter. Like, going to 180, that's what are you doing with those human heads in the back seat? That's pretty cool Nova you got there. Just oh man, that's really, really good. That's fast. That's fast. Yeah. That's really fast. It might be top speed.
It could be the top speed we've had.
Cop stories on there. Yeah. That's a good stretch. It's a great car to do it in. It's a great stretch of road from Scottsdale to I mean, that is a great run. All right. So last but not least, where are we going with this one? All right, we'll go old school too. Favorite car movie?
Favorite car movie? Gosh. Oof. Oh,
with
I
all
mean,
the
those BMW commercials are super memorable. They weren't a movie for me.
with all the stuff you're doing, you probably didn't have time to watch movies or TV. Just eat a lot of shoes.
He's seen movies.
Hammer and workout.
There was not a favorite. I'll give you this. And no, because that's terrible. Because I don't actually know. But there was one movie that left a completely profound effect on me because I'd never seen this car before, and I thought I'd seen all these cars. Like I'm a big student of history, and it was a panhard of some sort. I don't even remember what it was. And it was some European movie, and it was on Iceland, and this car was just driving through Iceland, and I was like, I need to chase that down. I spent the next 3 hours on Google trying to find what the hell this car was. I was like Googling the movie, getting screenshots from the movie, reverse Google search. Like, I'm going to find this car. One day I'm going to buy that car. They're cheap. They're like 10 grand.
Yeah.
But I'm sure parts availability is terrible. But that's like, I guess, a core memory. Yeah, me struggling to figure it out.
First panhard bar from a panhard.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that a Josh fun fact? You actually know that?
I know that for a fact. Yeah, that's why they call it a panhard bar. It's from
That
panhard.
makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Suspension design that they did. Dude, this has been an absolute blast. Had no idea what to expect, right? We didn't know you. Really wanted to get to know you. Absolutely blown away and had a lot of damn fun. You got to promise us here on air where everybody, you and your brother, we got to figure this out. We'll fly out. You need to do it in studio, the both of you. This is a great fucking time.
Okay.
Awesome
You guys are where?
stuff,
Chicago,
man.
right?
Yeah, Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother's been. That's another place he's been that I haven't, that he always holds over my head. So, yeah.
It's a great
definitely
city.
Yeah. He enjoyed it. He found like some of the best burgers he's ever had. So,
Dude, the food and drinks. are
Great
phenomenal.
food, great whiskey, great, all kinds of stuff.
yeah,
Oh.
sure. Let's do it. And let's get you guys to Goodwood. Let's make that happen.
We've got to figure that
It's
out.
on the top of our bucket list, man. We will be there.
Yeah,
one of these
we need to do
days.
it
Don't
next
know
year.
when, but-
It's going to be next year.
We've been saying that for the past 4 years.
I know, but if you don't
Go
say,
without a car first.
Yeah, well, that's what we're
Go
planning
without
on.
a
Yeah.
car first.
Right. Of
Yeah,
course.
good. Then go with a car because that's stress level times 10.
Yep.
what's coming next? When is the next biggest news dropping on the car?
Yeah, I mean, we're getting ready for Car Week right now. So for our sort of little genre of the automotive space, that's a big week. So we'll be showing this thing.
Are we going to
our
Car Week this
carbon
week? We might be going out there.
I'm excited to see what the Ring Brothers are doing a new car for Quail.
Dude, I got a sneak peek. It's got our chassis under it. It is
Nice.
I'll throw a spoiler alert. It's the most badass thing they've ever built, and they've built some cool stuff.
I'll agree with you on that.
Yeah. I think you'll be
It's cool.
floored.
excited.
You will definitely appreciate it, man.
I've never met
awesome.
them, but yeah, we interact occasionally on Instagram and
You'll
stuff.
have to
and,
start when you
been a
meet
huge
them.
fan.
Meet my. You have to speak loud.
They're old.
Talk real loud. They're a little bit hard of hearing. They don't look it. They're 70. They're in their 70s.
Dude, honestly though, nicest guys. Mike and Jim, you got to meet. Just go up, introduce yourself. You got to bring them over and show them your creation. I mean, they'll geek out, but two of the nicest dudes you ever met, and you're gonna love the creation that they've got there.
We may just hop out for a quick date.
Maybe.
So that's gonna be awesome, man. Wish you the best of luck.
Yeah.
I don't think you need it. You guys are super fucking talented. You've got it all figured out. I understand so much more.
Definitely.
I think we all do. Just having the conversation. There are so many unknowns. It's just like
Very cool.
make it make sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome. Wish you nothing but the best of luck. We need to stay in touch, and we got to do this again sometime soon.
Awesome. No, it's a pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Dude.
Genuine. Very cool.
Well, take care, man. It was great, dude.
See you soon. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers, man. Bye.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it,
cool.
man.
Super cool.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. You guys got any big builds or anything coming up or anything? Anything exciting?
Yeah, the crazy thing that we got going, we're stuffing a V12 Aston motor in a Pantera and totally restyling it.
Oh, wow.
And it's
Okay.
yeah, we're kind of like you. We're trying to cram kind of the most like smallest driver, but still like semi-normal size driver in it, and designing around it. But it ought to be pretty unique. So I'm excited about that. And yeah, there's not a lot of cool muscle car stuff, but nothing. That's about the most wild one we got.
You don't want to take a stab at some rear end sketches, do you? We need some rear end sketches done of the.
Yeah, we've got.
I'll send it over. We can give you feedback or a little tweak here or there.
Sometimes you start getting into a little bit of a roadblock. You know, so many different opinions on stuff, and it just hasn't grabbed you by the fucking nuts yet.
You guys use AI tools at all?
We tinker with it a little bit, but we've got a full-time in-house designer, and he hasn't totally like seen the light with AI design, so you know, I think it's a little fear for I don't know where it goes in the future, but it's come out pretty cool so far. We got some tweaks to make, and I'll love to send it your way. I'd love to get some feedback on it.
Hell yeah. Are you guys trying to get it finished for like SEMA or anything, or?
We're a solid year and a half out on it. I mean, it's just like getting through the chassis design right now, so we got some work to do.
Nice.
But it ought to be.
Sick.
That's cool. It's the most exciting thing that, for me anyway, that we've done in a long time. So
by far.
I'm stoked about it.
Yeah.
Nice. Epic. Very cool. Well, yeah. Good luck with it.
Thanks, dude.
But yeah.
If you ever need anything on your
side,
suspension wise, machining wise, I mean, anything, any help on anything, I mean, let us know. We'd be glad to help.
No one knows we have this car, but we have a 73 Chrysler Imperial.
Oh, okay.
It's got basically like a NASCAR motor in it, straight pipes, all redone suspension, but from the outside, it looks super, super ratty. I want to, at some point when our company is a little more successful, like full carbon panels on it, but still keep it all granny.
Yeah.
Make it look like a granny car. Like right now it's brown with a white Landau top and then gold fabric interior.
Oh, hell yeah.
Full cage inside, but
Nice.
It's pretty cool. We'll be able to do something with that at some point.
Yeah, that sounds
One day.
rad.
Maybe I'll bring it to you guys.
Whatever you need, man, let us know.
Yeah, let's stay in touch, dude. This was a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, great time.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, man.
Cheers.
All right,
buddy. We'll see
cheers. Awesome. Great interview.
Really cool.
Yeah.
It's just I can't. It's like so much to take in. What an unbelievably talented group of guys.
Yeah, super talented. And there's just something. It's jealousy is the wrong word. Envy,
admiration,
envy,
a little bit of envy.
Envy on the. I mean, everybody's got challenges, right? And behind this thing, there's so many things. But envious of the creative freedom, where it's just it's just the. Let's just, we're gonna figure out some engineering challenges like that, but let's worry about the looks.
Yeah.
Like, let's do that. And you don't have to like run it by anybody. It's just like, no, that fucking looks good. That doesn't. So we're gonna do that thing.
Yeah, those dude's got it going on, man. It's wild. I mean, you see it from the outside looking in, and there's got to be something special there. There's more to it, and now you get it.
Yeah, because they're talented.
Yeah, they're
super talented.
Wildly talented guys. It's not what it comes down to.
A really, really sad Phil didn't get to be here for this one. He would have enjoyed it.
Yeah, he would have liked that a lot, and especially in the Porsche.
But duty calls, as they say.
Yeah, I mean, talk about talent. Like, my brother has talent as well. It just lands in a different kind of genre, different area. He's just, Phil's always been a athletic dude. I'm actually shocked at the way that the pickleball thing has taken off and the turn of events.
Wow, how far we've come in the last 6 months.
Yeah. It's almost like your classic NBA superstar story. Like, to the top, winning championships, and then like come full circle back to being a head coach, which is
I mean, I don't know. We just got off of a road tour. A lot of people saw Phil. He was kind of gimping around. He had a pretty significant knee injury.
Water trampoline injury. Don't jump on a water trampoline at 44 years old.
He blew that knee.
That's it.
Out.
That's 100% going to be an ACL, MCL.
It's all the ace. It's all the CLs.
Yeah, it's definitely
every CL that he's got is gone. Right. It's no CLs. So blew that thing out. Fucked it up pretty good. Hit his MRI. We're waiting on the results there. In the meantime, since he blew that out, somehow, some way, Phil has gotten his name out there, unbeknownst to us.
Unbeknownst to us until we're on the road tour and you're traveling around the country and people know him.
Yes,
it's like Fireball Phil Gerber is what they know him as on the court,
and to see him. Because he knows we're going to make fun of him, to see him get so worked up about it when somebody notices him, he can't stand that.
Just take the compliment, dude. Sign the autograph.
So Phil is coaching not one, but two professional men's pickleball teams. I say professional. I'd say semi-professional.
Yeah, semi-pro. I think it's still up. It's kind of like bags.
You got the Barrington Brawlers and whatever the other team is. I don't remember the other team.
Yeah, I don't know who else it was, but he's overseas.
But he's overseas fucking recruiting. That's how big this has gotten, that he is in Sweden.
A lot of talent out there. It hasn't taken off yet. Pickleball is, I guess, not quite a thing there, but it's almost like, what is it? Is it Cuba with baseball? Is that where?
Yeah, it's
where a lot of talent.
Farm league. Yeah,
right.
That's.
So Phil's harvesting talent. He's going to come back. I guess he's working on building a team, trying to get a little ace in the hole there. But
they say you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life, So he's passionate about it.
God bless him, man.
Yeah. Fireball Phil. We'll see you again next week. Don't forget to get your oil and whiskey shirts, and I think one of them's about sold out.
Really?
Yeah.
They're good shirts.
It's good. It's a comfortable shirt.
I opted to wear my road tour shirt tonight because I'm still kind of...
I would have wore that, except I got a small in my gift bag. Yeah.
I'm still my head's still there. It was such a great time, man.
Yeah. If you just finished it, it would have been even cooler.
Duty call, family time.
I know.
And
you missed an epic night. Yeah. It was a great road tour. We can't talk about it because it's invite only. People get all super excited. They want to go. Hey. They won't be able to go because it's invite only.
Hey, not everybody can go to everything.
No.
Right?
Not everybody can. We'll see you again next week.